It had been 2 weeks of cone and bath torture for the kitten, but he had finally made it through. That first morning, when he realised he wasn't having a bath, my husband said he noticed a huge change in the kitten's attitude. He said you could tell he was happy as he was doing zoomies all over the house. It was wonderful and funny at the same time. His bald spots were much better. The fur on his foot had pretty much healed, so it looked like the cream had done its job. It did make me wonder what he would have done in the wild though. He was living a domestic life with us right now, and yet the ringworm had still gotten quite bad. It had started at his foot, but ended up spreading to the other parts of his body, including his tail. What would have happened to him if he was still living at the side of our shed? Would he have just lived his life as a bald kitty cat? Or would he have naturally been able to fight it off himself? The cat didn't get it, so maybe he only caught it because he was a baby. We weren't sure, but we were glad that we'd saved them when we did. In fact, I had checked the side of the shed where the original nest was, and I noticed that the makeshift roof my husband had built months ago had fallen down in the rain, so they were lucky they weren't living there anymore. Life was good for the cats. They were both getting used to living with us strange-looking big cats. The kitten was pretty much domesticated already. He spent most of his days exploring our house and getting into every nook and cranny that he could find. My husband nicknamed him the Feather Duster, as we'd often see his face covered in dust bunnies. He loved climbing. I caught him many times on our screen door, and one time he made it all the way to the top. It was quite high, but he never hurt himself when he jumped off. He was a very nimble kitty cat. Our screen doors were looking a bit worse for wear though, with many holes appearing, but we didn't mind too much. We enjoyed his company more than having holeless doors. I didn't think it was possible, but he also loved climbing our little indoor washing line. It's quite flimsy and it would sway to and fro while he jumped from wire to wire, but he absolutely loved it. The kitten managed to turn everyday items into fun and exciting new toys. That's the thing with kittens. They are little balls of energy and they look at the world with such wonder and amazement. Our kids continued to play with the kitten. They would throw a little ball down the hallway for him and he would chase after it. It was like he was a little dog. I never would have thought you could play with a cat like that before. He was definitely an entertaining kitty cat. My husband was still his favourite person in the house. He'd snuggle up to him and fall asleep on his lap most days. He never did that with me. If my husband was in the study, he'd jump onto his shoulders and nuzzle his way into his hair. My husband was so happy that the kitten was a boy, as he'd always felt outnumbered in our family. You see, we have 2 girls, so it had always been 3 against 1. Well, not anymore. He now had the kitten on his team. The cat was also getting used to domestic life. She was slowly warming up to our kids, those strange little big cats. But she was still quite scared of my husband. She was definitely getting better with him, but would often run and hide when he walked past, and she'd always keep an eye on him. She would let him pat her, but he'd have to approach very slowly, and then he'd have to pat her for a long time, just to show her that he didn't mean any harm. She still wouldn't come when he called, but she always came to me when I said her name. While my husband was the kitten's favourite strange-looking big cat, I was the cat's. Whenever I came home from work, she would meet me at the front door and meow loudly, as if to say, "Where were you? I missed you. I need my pats now." After a long day at work, it was always nice to see her big yellow eyes smiling at me. As the days went on, we noticed the cat kept staring out of the windows. We knew that she missed being outside, and we wanted her to be happy. We decided that once she trusted my husband again, when she actually came to him when he called her, it was only then that we'd let her go outside. She'd already been vaccinated, de-sexed and microchipped, so if she did run away, then at least she wouldn't be making any more cats. She was a stray when we got her, and we always said we wouldn't force her to be an indoor cat, as that would be too cruel. Our hope was that she'd be our family pet, but we'd let her come and go as she pleased during the day. We'd then bring her back in at night. We just hoped that she wouldn't run away when we let her out for the first time in months. That plan didn't last long. It had been 3 months now, and her relationship with my husband had definitely improved, but she was still quite wary of him. We could tell that she wanted to go outside, and I was feeling really sorry for her. After talking to my husband, he agreed to let her outside. It's currently autumn here and it had been raining quite a lot. It was another overcast day, so we thought it was a good time to let her out. We hoped that the weather would deter her from running away, but I was also pretty confident that she wouldn't abandon her kitten. The kitten was the backup plan. We decided to let the cat out, but the kitten had to stay inside as he hadn't been desexed yet, and he also wasn't microchipped either. My husband told me that if she did run away, it was up to me to tell the kids that she had gone. I nearly changed my mind after he said this, but I was 95% sure that she would come back, at least to me when I called her. So I opened the door and let her outside.